Welcome to Double Drivel, an NBA podcast. Hello and welcome to another Quickie episode of Double Drivel. We are a weekly podcast offering a fan's perspective on the news and issues surrounding the NBA. Thank you for joining us. My name is Greg, and I am joined as always by my co-host JT. You can find us on Twitter at Double Dribblers or email us at doubledrivelpodcast@gmail.com. JT, what up, my friend?
Oh, Christ, Greg, I just want to talk about basketball. I'm tired of talking about fucking Twitter beefs and this bullshit. How long? How long do we have?
We have a Quickie episode worth and 2 days of actual real time. So if that works for you, I'm actually fairly excited. You know, we talked about this. I love this stuff. This is why I watch basketball, not just for the exciting athleticism and the suspense and all the other stuff you get. I love the little beefs and all the fights and all the trash. I love it. So we are chock full of that today.
Fights. These fools don't fight, Greg. Oh, God.
They don't fight, but we'll get to that later. Relax. We have a few little issues to get to, though. We have Rodney Hood, Mr. CJ McCollum making some poor decisions, MJ, and LeBron in wine country. But we're going to start with a quick little story about LeBron James. And he apparently, which I was not aware, and this really gets to my heart, he had a quote this week that shined a little light on LeBron James. What was that quote, JT?
Here's a quote from our man LeBron. I'm not turning on data roaming. I'm not buying no apps. I still got Pandora with commercials. End quote.
How great is that? I personally love that. How do you feel?
It's confusing to me, man. It's like, why do you... It's funny to me how you can be so particular about penny pinching in certain areas, but then in other areas, got no problem spending money.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can understand, though, not turning on data roaming. That's insane. You just jump on any carrier, you never know who you're going to end up on. So I like that he doesn't like to waste his money. That makes me happy. And not buying apps, it pains me to say, but I can't remember the last time I bought an app, and especially an app that costs more than $1. So I'm a sucker for a free app, or at worst $1. I don't like spending that, but the $2 app, I'm going to hem and haw, and I'm going to go back and forth. But if it's $5, it doesn't matter. It might as well be $5 million. I'm not buying that app. It's just not going to happen. So I can understand where he's coming from. And Pandora with commercials, he's probably on half of them, and he has to endorse commercials. He makes so much money off of commercials, he has to endorse the experience of listening to something with commercials. Like he has to act like he rides in a Kia and enjoys it.
LeBron, I can't see LeBron in a Kia in IRL.
Yeah, they got that huge Kia, though. So, I mean, maybe.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Greg. One thing that LeBron seems to have no problem paying top dollar for is his beverage of choice, which is a...
Ooh. You have some inside info on Mr. James and his... I don't even know what is it, like a Merlot? Is that a red wine?
Merlot is a red wine, but I just find it...
Look at me. Yeah, got a bottle of Gatorade in my hand talking about some Merlot.
And this is not secret stuff. I mean, this took me just a minute or two on the old Google machine to find. People have compiled all the wines that Mr. James has tasted and enjoyed, and posted pictures of the bottles and labels on his Instagram over the years. And I tell you, my friend, Mr. James, he's got an affinity for the upper echelon of Cabernet Sauvignons. Some coming from
yes, very good, Mr. James. Yes,
the Napa Valley region of Northern California.
And also he spoke out on Twitter this week about the fires that are going on, something that you know a lot about. he actually spoke out in support of the Sonoma area and the Napa region.
Yeah, LeBron frequents the area during his off season. As I said, he has a taste for a certain variety of wine that is very popular in the Napa Valley. And may I throw some numbers at you, Greg?
Oh, please do.
So LeBron, who's just not really willing to shell out a dollar or two for an independent developer who probably worked his tail off to buy or to create an app or a game. He has no problem paying, or I'm sure he doesn't pay, but the cost for the public, Greg, he likes a certain wine called Opus One, proprietary red. It comes in around $350 a bottle.
Ooh.
Another wine he enjoys, Staglin Family Vineyard, Booth Bella Oaks, around $400 a bottle, Greg.
Yes, uncork one of those for me too.
I'll add just a personal anecdote, Greg. I've had the opportunity to drop in the Opus One winery on Highway 128 in the Napa Valley, and it's I'll say at any other winery, Greg, a tasting costs $5-10.
I was going to ask.
Opus One, $80 to $120, Greg, just for tasting. Just for tasting.
Oh, just a taste. Just let my lips touch it. Just let my lips touch the bottle.
So, I mean, if we're going to be conservative with our money, Mr. James, perhaps we stay out of Opus One. Staglin's not cheap either, my friend.
No, but that's why you have money. Because if you're not drinking expensive wine, then you're not even doing it right. He does all the other stuff right. He's got the nice houses, he's got nice cars, he's got an insane medical staff. You got to drink the expensive wine. That's just part of the game. There's no other reason to be rich. I mean, it's one of the top reasons. So, it's something you have to do. Sorry. I support it.
I support it too. I hold no ill will towards our friend LeBron. We both love him very much, and I appreciate him bringing attention to the food and wine industry, and in particular the region of Northern California affected by the fires. He is good people, and we love him.
Yes. So, and everyone else, as they said, I saw some growers on the news, and they said, "What's the best thing you can do? Continue to buy our wine. Continue to come and visit. It's not the end of the world. It's just some fires. So things will be rebuilt, but don't be scared away because, tourism's a big deal. So get out there. Maybe not right now. I mean, I can't imagine. There's no real way to transition, so I'll just go into it. So CJ McCollum is going to be suspended for the first game of the season, and it's for a stupid rule, but I believe he was also just stupid to violate it. It's been a rule that's been instituted for a few years now, and it's about leaving the bench when there is a fight. And I'm going to turn this over to JT because he was watching that as though it were his final for some sort of class. I mean, you've never seen him just go over a video this much and just try to figure out what exactly was going through his head. Or I'll let you explain, JT. Please, take it away.
So the rule, Greg, is players that are not currently playing, i.e. on the bench, when a scuffle takes place on the floor during active play, you may not leave the bench. You're not allowed to do it. Okay? So in this instance, we had Caleb Swanigan and Alex Len, two big men, kind of positioning down low for a rebound. They got tangled up. A little shove here, a little shove there. This wasn't that serious of a scuffle. I mean, as far as NBA scuffles go, let me say this first, Greg. I get ahead of myself. none of these motherfuckers are trying to fight each other. Okay,
No,
not one of them. No one's tried to fight in the NBA in like 20 years. Okay,
no.
no,
Bill Lambier was the last guy that was getting fists either thrown or throwing fists. I mean, there hadn't been a lot since then.
you're not trying to fight each other. Everyone should just shut this shit down because it's so stupid. Okay, I put that out there and I continue. So these guys get mixed up, and then CJ McCollum, and I think what you were noticing, Greg, is I was just trying to count the steps he took from out of bounds play onto the floor. And I counted 4. Okay, so he takes 4 steps onto the floor, doesn't touch anyone, and then one of the Blazers trainers or medical staff, some suited individual, comes and just pushes him off. So that gets you 86 for a game. So he's going to miss the first game of the season for taking 4 steps onto the floor, doing nothing, and getting pushed off.
My only contention is it's not a new rule. I mean, this is not something that, I mean, I think it's probably been close to as long as he's been in the league, I would imagine. So
Yeah.
I can't say that, I feel bad for the guy.
I was trying to think, like, why the fuck are you doing this? Is so stupid. This is so stupid because especially in the West, and as the Blazers are positioned kind of similarly to the Jazz, as far as projections go, they're both looking at competing for the final playoff spot. Like, every game matters. So you're looking to win every single game. You need your best players available who aren't injured. And you're taking yourself out of the game for nothing. Like, you didn't even get a chance to intimidate someone. You didn't get to send a message where, like, next time these guys are in town, he's going to remember this. It's like, you just took yourself out for nothing. So, like, I guess, like, just in the same way where you have to, like, spend time together as a team, you got to practice, you got to get your jump shot back into shape after the season. I think CJ just kind of forgot what he was supposed to do in this situation, and he just let instinct take over.
You can't let a game go in the West. So he, like you said, he's giving a game away.
Or if you're not, say, I don't know who they're matched up with off the top of my head, but, at the very least, and this is really taking it under a microscope, at the very least, your teammates are going to have to play harder, which, if you look at the whole season, maybe that takes a toll. Maybe that has an effect somewhere down the line, but it's just so dumb. So dumb.
So, you know what's actually pretty funny? Their first game of the season is versus the Phoenix Suns, who this whole incident occurred against.
Okay,
So-
well, that advantage Suns, I have to say.
Yeah, they gave up a nobody player. Well, actually, no one got suspended from them, right? I mean, it was just the 2 guys got technicals that were actually in the scuffle, and he was the only one that was actually dumb enough to go on the court. So that's too bad.
Yeah, but you know what? I've had the pleasure, the displeasure of seeing Dame Lillard play opening day 2 years ago.
Dame
Played-
Dollar. Oh, got them beats.
He smoked the Jazz. He came out just 100% ready to go. So maybe Lillard is on point for game 1 and really just makes it no big deal. Could be.
Dropping dimes everywhere. Just dropping them.
He's nasty, Greg. I'm a big Lillard
He
fan.
is nasty. He's a guy that's missed the All-Star team a couple years because of various things. I think he may have made it last year, but I know on his contract year, I think it was 2 years ago, he didn't make it, and that was a big deal. Just didn't expect to not make it. He was on the cover of the video game that year. I think it was NBA 2K. So, got to make that All-Star team.
It's tough in the West.
Very tough in the West. Certainly not the East. So, no. But it is so tough in the West because of something that people call super teams. Now, a super team is some team with a lot of superstars, and it's a team like I don't consider the Warriors a super team. Well, I mean, I guess I do now with Kevin. Well, before Kevin Durant, they were still winning. So I guess now that they have Durant, they're a super team. Fine. So I'll take that back. So the Warriors are a super team now, but previous to that, they built their team. So they did it the right way. That's how you're supposed to do it. And buying Durant was just a ridiculous cherry on the top of it all. But there's a lot of teams in the league who are just building out the way of super teams. And one person who does not like this is Michael Jordan, of all people. Now, Michael Jordan is an owner in the league. He is an owner of my favorite team, the Charlotte Hornets. And his quote kind of worries me because he said that with super teams, you end up with 28 teams that are garbage and 2 that are good. And that makes me think he's not talking about the Hornets as one of those 2 good teams. So if even he knows his team is garbage, how does that make me feel? I mean, I'm rooting for these guys every single night, and I'm going to tell you, it took a little wind out of my sails. He's not going to lie, I guess, but he doesn't like them. And I don't know. That just concerns me that even the other owners know that they're up against very difficult odds.
Yeah, Jordan, not the best way to like pump your people up, man. I mean, give us some fluff, like sell it a little bit.
Yeah, like, oh, it just means we have to work harder to beat these supposed super teams, or what's
anything's
a super
possible,
team?
or
you know,
hard
me
work
and
pays
Scotty,
off kind of thing.
For real. Me and Scotty weren't a super team, and other things he could say. We needed Rodman to win. I don't know. So it's just too bad. I think that he's probably right, but it makes me feel bad about my team, and I don't like that. So, all right. Well, that's about it for today's episode. What'd you think, JT?
Great. Can we talk about my man, Rodney Hood?
I tried to skip it. I did all I could to skip it. No, we can certainly talk about Rodney Hood. If we're going to end on some news about my favorite team.
What is your beef with my man? Tell me your beef with my man.
Because I don't think he's good, and you know what? Fine, let's talk about this because it makes sense. It makes sense to talk about. So please continue. What are we talking about with Rodney Hood?
Some Jazz fans were hoping that Rodney Hood and Jazz brass would come to a contract extension agreement before the season began, or at the deadline, which was yesterday, I believe. And Greg,
so he wants his playoff performance to be the last thing that's in their mind before he signs some sort of contract or does negotiations.
Well, I think that's not a great way to phrase it. I think, these guys, they get their rookie deal as soon as they get drafted, and that lasts 3 years, and then they get their next deal, whatever and wherever that is. And
okay, so you're not a rookie anymore.
You're not a rookie anymore.
Nope. You're a man. So you're in the league, and now that you're a man in the league, that's the kind of performance that you put on for us in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, God, I don't know why you have to keep phrasing it that way. It's like now we have to do this next deal, and can we agree on it, or do you want to not agree on something, and then it goes to restricted free agency kind of thing. And he can kind of shop around and hear what other teams have to say. So that's what's going to happen. They're not going to decide. Jazz aren't going to lock him up before it gets to that stage. They're going to let him play a little bit of basketball, see how he looks, and then, shop his value around, which is fine. It could work out fine for everyone, but depending on the individual, it can leave kind of a bitter taste in your mouth that the team you're playing for didn't want to settle up with you right away and worry about other shit. They want to see you perform more, and then you can talk. So that's where that stands. I love Rodney Hood. It's all going to work out great. He's going to win Most Improved Player of the Year this year, and it's not going to be a big deal.
Yeah. So, and then Mr. Hood woke up and realized that that he didn't get his contract extension because of that sour taste he left in their mouth at the end of the playoffs last year. And even more so, I bet you they gave him the chance because now that that trader named Gordon Hayward is gone, he's going to have new opportunities. He's going to have a whole new, chance to prove himself. So maybe they're going to give him the opportunity because they're very good about that in Utah. They're very giving. They will give you the chance, and we'll see if he takes advantage of it. But if he has a performance like he did and continues to play that way, then they made the right decision, and I would not have re-signed him either. And I just wonder who would be itching to get their hands on Rodney Hood. Like if he was on
you
the
don't
open
know.
market. For real,
You
like
don't know.
what teams? Oh, I just wonder who the GMs are that are sitting around with him up on their big board. They got Rodney Hood penciled up number 1. Oh, if our man Rodney becomes available, we're gonna make some moves. We're gonna make it happen to get Rodney Hood in a magic uniform. Like I don't know. What's it gonna take to put you in Orlando, Mr. Hood?
I don't think
income tax.
You're a Hood hater. I see it and I recognize it, and that's all right. You'll see. We're gonna.
Yeah, because I must say I was impressed with the Jazz in the finals. Oh my god, in the in the series last year versus the Warriors in the playoffs. I mean, I was. They played very hard. They played very good. You can tell they're a good team. They're good coached, well coached rather. And I think that if they had maybe a better player where Rodney Hood's spot was, maybe that could have made a little bit of a difference. But he definitely let them down when the lights were the brightest and it mattered the most. But so did a lot of other teams playing the Warriors. They wiped the floor with everybody last year. So.
God, there's not a fucking mouthwash strong enough to clean your whore mouth, Greg.
It's just true. I can't help it. The guy. I mean, you're not going to beat the Warriors with players like him. I mean, I'm saying that. That's it. I mean, I hate to take the gloves off on Rodney Hood of all people. I mean, I don't really care about him or dislike him all that much.
Man. Always.
But it is. This is going to be where this happens. But you're not beating the Warriors with subpar players. You're not beating them with bullshit. The best player in since Michael Jordan can't beat them reliably. So it's not about the players, it's the supporting cast, and he is not part of a supporting cast that's going to beat the Golden State Warriors. And that's troubling because somebody needs to beat them. And God forbid it be the Rockets. God forbid. Make me throw up. I hope it's Oklahoma City or somebody.
You remember all this next time you want to skip a talk on my man Rodney
I
Hood.
will
all the
put
fire,
this
all the
in
fire
stone.
Dirty motherfucker. All right, Greg.
So, all right. Well, I think this is a great chat we had here about Rodney Hood. I don't know about you, but I enjoyed this. So we'll be back. Not next week. I think we're going to be back on opening night. How about you? I think we're going to be back on Tuesday.
Got to do it. Got to be here.
Yeah. So in the meantime, follow us on Twitter at Double Dribblers, and you can email us at doubledrivelpodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe to the show on iTunes, Podbean, or Google Play. We are also on Instagram, so check us out. And until next week, see you, or until Tuesday, see you on the internet.